Ready to go. I keep that where I can see it. Oh, everybody else still sleepy. I'm sleepy. Oh, and I should warn you now, it looks like we got some rain getting ready to hit any time, and it might get a little loud out here. If it does, I'll probably end up having to mute and then do a lot more typing. Fortunately, once this is done, my hands aren't going to get too dirty today. Cool. What's up, Dre? It's what happens when you run out of time. Do I really? That's funny. This thing's almost too small. What these things are 12 inches? What's the 12 inch chance if this is only 11? Did I mismeasure something? Where's my computer? Later. Okay, well, we're almost at 12 and a half. That's why. Come on. Also, come on. Come on, baby. If the other one to fit, you can squeeze on too. I promise you, it won't hurt you. Come on. Almost had it. That's gotta love liquid. Yeah, my problem is I slept all night when I'm usually up all night, so now I'm like all messed up. I love night shift. It messes with me so much. Do I got enough clamps for another one? Hey, that's the hoodie I was looking for when I was mowing. It is really chilly today. Don't know why. So when I scheduled this, I thought I was leaving myself enough time to get both of these done and then get on my way, but apparently I can't use time estimation very well. Alright. The difference between nice high quality clamps and Harbor Freight specials. The third scam call I've had in the last 2 hours. And yes, if you didn't know, I am kind of a Star Wars nerd, hence why you get to talk to me whenever I get phone calls. Where's this at? Just about. The only size I'm limited by is how wide my planer can go, so I can only go 13 inches wide. But that's when, if I want it 13 by 20, that's when I build it in a different way, and then I just clamp it up. So if I need to, I can make it work if I have to. And if I know I'm going to be going wider than that, then I just cut everything to be super duper close. Then I just stand everything instead of run it through the planer. But I like the planer option because 4 to 6 passes per side, and it's done and ready to go. Maple. I need more Purdue. Holy cow, I'm almost out of thick wood. And I need a bigger picture. Then piece of maple for the middle. I put my tape measure. I swear I lose this thing every time I don't put it on my belt. What do you know? I'm already at 13 3/4. Before I do anything to make it pretty. I'm in the process of figuring that up right now. It also depends on how much wood I put in each of them. Because walnut here versus maple, this is about 2.5 times the cost of this if it was the same size. So let's go down to that. Seven 3/4. Gotta throw a little Paduke in there. I love this reddish orange wood. There's no real rhyme or reason to where how you put this stuff in, just whatever you think looks good. And I can always customize stuff like this if y'all want some. Alright, that should be just under 9.5. With these, I could go to a lot tighter of a measurement, but as long as I'm on this one, I want to get to about 11 inches. So we're gonna see if we can find a wider piece on maybe. Okay. I also picked up some clipboard clips for these. So if you want a custom 3/4 inch thick clipboard, or right about 3/4 inch, it's a little under. I can make those now too. I made one and took it into work the other day, and I had a couple people looking at me all funny when they're looking at my clipboard, and I was like, "What? Like, is that a cutting board?" It's like, "No, it's my clipboard." I just got bored, so I made a cutting board into a clipboard because it had a couple cracks that I can't use it for a cutting board. Go figure on one. Yeah, it needs to be symmetrical. I'm keeping that symmetrical. Alright, let's see where I'm at. 11.5. I'm going to add about another 1/2 inch to that. How can we add a 1/2 inch to that with 1/4 inch thick boards? Oh. It's actually 1 foot on the dot. Yay. All right. Really wish I could use hickory for these, but it's not a recommended wood type. It's a good color between the maple and the walnut. That's right, and I'm out of cherry too, ain't I? Oh, I still got a little bit. A board. I should actually be okay, Pam. I just got to sit down and get what I paid per board foot for the wood and then divide it out. It just takes time, and I haven't had the time to look into it yet since I've been kind of... My problem is, this is the part I like. I hate pricing stuff because I hate having to tell people, you know, it's going to cost you X amount for the pretty cutting board or the pen or wine bottle topper or whatever it is. But I mean, at the same time, you know, I got to make sure I can cover what I have in it and then my time on top of it, which for these, I mean, yeah, if you go through and watch all the videos for everything, all the cutting I've been doing into them, that takes a lot of time. But in all honesty, batching it out like this, if I didn't have to switch between doing everything, this is maybe, an hour's worth of work by the time I'm done clamping it up. So it's not as crazy as you'd think. So I'm actually probably going to go, when I'm done with this, sit down and figure out prices later today and hopefully have them available tonight for, you know, how much it's going to cost roughly. Because what I'm going to do is get how much I've got and what I've made, average it out, so then I know if I use a little extra walnut, it's going to be X amount more. Like, you know, this is the standard price. Here's the yeah, just different ways of making them. Sounds like somebody took my idea. Should somebody fire up their tractor? Just got off of mine. I love my zero turn. So much fun to play. I mean, mow with. I never play around on it. I never do donuts randomly just because it can. Never, never, ever, ever. Here's something. If you got earbuds in, you might want to take them out. One of my barn mice running across the top. What do you mean I need to get over pricing people? When I give a price, that's what it is. It just, I want to make sure before I give out numbers that I'm not like ripping you off compared. Because I mean, my biggest thing is I want to make sure with my time. That's my biggest, the biggest determinator or the biggest factor for getting my pricing out is yeah, well, part of my problem is the area I live in. There's been a lot of people who just give me grief at craft shows and stuff, which is just with everything else that I've been dealing with the last couple weeks, and especially the last couple shows I was at, excluding the last one I was actually at. That one was actually, I drove a little over an hour to get there, and when I'm in southern Ohio around Amish country, I always do a lot better than around here in the city. So it's part of why I'm trying to leave where I live now, but it's going to be probably 2 to 3 years till I can afford it, because I don't want to rent, because I might not be able to, because I'll definitely lose my dedicated workspace, and most landlords wouldn't like a tenant doing this kind of thing in their apartment. Because I'm the type, if I'm renting, I want to find get the cheapest place I can, so I can save as much money as possible, so I can get out of there as quick as I can. Because like my old apartment was about half the size of this other shop I'm in now, and this isn't even connected to my house. This is a full burnout in my backyard. So drove my ex at the time crazy because she didn't realize I was actually looking to buy a house, but everything she wanted, it was like $250,000 or better, and it's like I can't afford that. So all right. Now let's see if we can. That one closed. That one closed. That one closed. So what you can't see is directly behind that way is where I've got some plywood and stuff stacked up. So these 4-foot long Harbor Freight special parallel clamps, I'm trying to wedge them in between gaps so I can actually tighten them down. You know what? I didn't. This is what happens when I get distracted. If I could find a job down there and be able to get somewhere to get set up until I can afford my own place, Pam, I would do it in a heartbeat. Because it'd either be Texas or Arizona for my two places I'd like to live the most, and not just because I like the desert in Arizona. We went to Sedona, I think it was before my junior year of high school. Absolutely loved it out there. Right, okay. That's what. Okay, I'm good. Get them. That's certain of them, so that one's definitely tight enough. These are my cheaper clamps, so I got to be careful with them because they will actually bend. But for clamping glue ups, they actually work pretty well because you don't need to put thousands of pounds of force on them. You just need enough to hold it together. Yeah, I've heard that. And then when you're as introverted as I am, because I don't know if you can tell or not, but I am not a big social butterfly. That's why I'm pretty much almost always home when I'm here. But, man, hey, I make pretty stuff, so. The best part about making pretty stuff that I work on, it's useful too. And there's that. All right. So I'm hoping I got my door shut for the barn. I'm hoping that'll be enough to keep it warm enough for this to set up fairly quick today. Because what I might do, hit some wine bottle stoppers. What do I need therapy for? I don't need no therapy unless it's massage therapy. Get these nuts out of my back. But yeah, depending on how these are looking later, I might actually Run these two boards through the planer, get everything flat, and then cut them to size. But I got to make sure this glue's dry. It takes at least an hour to set up to where I can actually unclamp it, but I gotta, if it ain't fully dry, then I'm not even gonna take them off the clamps because it ain't worth having it fall apart on me. But let me double check my pull real quick, and then we're gonna jump over to the lathe, and I'm gonna drill up some bottle stoppers, then tap up some bottle stoppers, and then turn some bottle stoppers. Can't put them together because I don't have the pieces out here because I don't plan ahead well. We might do a couple of T-handles, which I can't put together though. So yeah, that might be a good idea. Get a couple of those done because I don't have, I think I've got 3 left. Alright. Oh yeah, I was already where I need to be. Community. Yeah. Alright. So yeah, since we're at 1/3 each for bottle stoppers, plan the lathe, we're gonna throw those two together. Nobody wanted this, but had to get it done. And shop infrastructure, so I got a couple things done, a couple things that need to be done. Yeah. Alright, I can work with those. Let me not make you seasick while I move my phone. The one nice thing about still having a reasonably small space, it don't take long for me to move and go to where I need to be. While we're here, grab a charger. So, like that. Only in my shop. Yes. Text message. Yeah. Hi, Kip Kitty. Another one of my experiments that I've been thinking about trying to do something with. I wonder. Find a way to mount that to its shop. Maybe that's why I can't keep friends, because if something don't come Something don't want to work, I just whack it. Actually doing that for now. I'm thinking I actually needed this. I gotta double check on measurements and then grab some blanks. I really hope I have them in here. Pounds, more pounds, bold actions. This one I have. 30 cal, 50 cal, hourglass, Erite. These things are so not worth the money. Started off really liking them and then they just, no. There's what I need right there. Could be a 15, 16th drill bit, 1 inch deep. Okay. So for that, I usually drill them out a little bit deeper. Okay, they're gonna fight with me, so up those V. Something else I should do next time we're in the basement shop. That's where my drill press is. 7:30 seconds. Drill out a. Yeah, I ain't even looking at that one. I already know that's not it. 8mm. Yeah, I should drill out a bit holder for all my drill bits and then label them. Twenty-seven 64ths. Yep. Didn't realize I left tape on it the last time. That's my stop mark, so I know where to stop when I'm drilling from. Here's thank God I didn't lose it. Fun side question. Anybody ever see somebody tap out a hole before? Hey CJ, what's up, man? Okay, this is the same. When I'm done drilling these out, I actually have to tap them out, which is how you put threading into material. It's the exact same procedure as doing it in metal. It's just I'm not doing metal, so I can get away with heating a little bit. But okay. Red, white, and blue. A couple of my favorite laminated color schemes. With soot, I forget what this is off the top of my head. Some zebra wood. A couple others. Maple, zebra wood. I I know what it is. I cannot remember what it's called. If I can't remember by the time CJ goes live, I'll look it up because I've got the paperwork in the house that has the different species of wood from the kit I bought for him. I think that's Paducah, actually. I'm not sure. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna drill and tap all of these. And then transition this thing back. Do what it needs to do. If you are impatient, this is the kind of stuff they'll end up being. These are two that I prepared earlier. They should be inside, I just haven't taken them in yet. So. What would make it easy? I bet something. Turn this down to about half speed. I want 1750, baby. You can give me 1750 right there. Exactly half speed for what this lathe can turn. I'm going to keep doing that and put that there. Believe it or not, I've actually been starting to organize in here a lot better. Like a couple months ago, I wouldn't have been able to tell you where the box with all these was. So it's, if it wasn't looking like it was going to rain, I was actually going to push this back and spend a couple hours going through more in the back. I don't want to put a bunch of power tools outside this again potentially rained on, so because like even where I'm standing, you know, it was covered in all kinds of junk and now it's cleaned up and not a hazard anymore because I was walking on a bunch of turning this time 2 weeks ago. Plus, I think Tuesday, once I'm up, I'm going to build out a thing for my dust collection system for my lathe. I've already started it, but I'm trying to figure out how I want to build the base on. I want to find a way to mount my phone to it so I can do lives from that. I mean, heck, my little table next to me was even covered in crap, which it is again, but it's not mounted over. I can see everything. Yeah, it's definitely a bit salty. Smells like pickles. Best part is I hate pickles. Where I put the blank set. So what happens when I organize too? I move stuff, and then when I forget where it's at, then I just freak out, and now I'm looking around because I'm not even watching this thing drill anymore. Where did I put that? What's he doing there? Business? Alright, that's gonna drive me crazy. Where'd you go? That's fun. But $100 worth of wood. That's why my interest. Hey, Pam, you're talking about plates. That's the kind of piece of wood I buy to make plates out of. Yeah, I love my Virgin Maiden. Hey, fair. Why didn't he take you? Better yet, why didn't he take me? I haven't had a vacation in years. Can you tell I've done this a few times, by the way? Gotcha. Yeah, it's funny. That's the only piece of maple I grabbed for all of this. hear that. I always like it when I can get out and see people, but I also like my seclusion. Alright, last one to drill. Then I'm actually going to grab a chair while I chop these. Fortunately, I got a few of them in here. Although I do want to get an office chair with wheels. Yeah, because I am thinking about adding a Venmo or something to this. That way, if anybody wants to do donations, since I can't get super chats or anything. But any of those I get right now would go towards my chair fund because I need 2 of them from between my 3 shops, or 2 shops and office. Balance up there. Where's this loose? Put that in there, and wow, that thing was hot. Isn't it funny how that happens, Pam? All right, let me kill the camera feed for a second. Like that. If you saw how much movement was going on, you'd thank me. Wow, that hurt. Got my tap. Camera on. I need 2 comfy chairs. The one in my basement shop is shot. The one in my office is good, at least. But and this is how you tap out a hole to be able to put a thread into, in this case, wood, but metal you do a half turn, quarter back. So half turn, quarter back, half turn, quarter back, half turn, quarter back. But with wood, you can just go for it. I usually do a turn or so, back it off a little bit. When you back it up a little bit, it actually clears the cutter teeth. And when you're doing metal, it's critical that you actually do it right. With this, I can kind of cheat and get away with it, so I do. Because it saves me a little time. It feels like I hit bottom. Then when you do this with metal, you'd also want to spray a little bit of what's it called? Oil. They make cutting oil for doing this too. That really helps. Once that's all done right, this is the piece that goes on my lathe to be able to turn these. That'll thread in, holds in nice and tight, and this is also how that's also how I'll attach it to the piece when it's done, which it just threads together. And like I said earlier, I'm not doing that out here today because I don't have any out here. I might hop on later tonight and put them together for a minute, but I wouldn't hold my breath for that. It didn't. I didn't hit it hard. I'm just. I have any thin out here. I don't think I have any thin CA out here today. Yes, I do. Awesome. There's one other thing you can actually do that helps harden these threads up. This maple's on the softer side, so I do like to reinforce it if I can. And if that don't work, I do have ways of fixing them. I'm not seeing, I forget where I put them, but I also have metal inserts I can actually glue into here. But this is another trick to give your threads just a little bit more strength. Let's put a little thin CA. This is zebra wood, which is super hard to turn. But there's no emergency, so why would you need to call them, Pam? Besides, I have a Bluetooth in my ear, and all I gotta do is push and hold this and say call emergency, and it dials 911. Which is why, if you go back on the day that bulb blew up on me, I grabbed my phone first thing. Because if it's in my hand, I had a Bluetooth in, and I can make the call and actually get help as soon as I need to. Well, let's be honest, I probably should have went to the hospital. And still don't have the money to go get everything checked out, so I'm just saying I'm good. Yeah, you would too if you cut a square piece of plywood in the back as you sat down. It scared me more than anything. I didn't say, ow. Do-do-do-do. This thing's getting hot. You'd be amazed at just how hot this tap gets just doing this into wood. Once you get them started and you really see me getting into it, that's when you know I've got a good bite, and it's self-straightening from there because of the pre-drilled hole. And even if it's off by a degree or two for what I'm doing, it ain't gonna matter. My dog just got one the other day. He was being bad and didn't move, and I pointed a hose at him because he didn't think I'd spray him. Oh, he got sprayed. A lot better than I meant to, and it was like, well, you're already soaked, so it's bath time. He was not a happy boy. There we go. Ooh, those was... I don't know if you guys can hear the back cracks or not, but that felt amazing. That was just my neck. Six more. Can't let Pam see my face too much now because she gets too excited. These will be wine bottle stoppers once everything's done, all done and said. "5 weeks old? That's still young." What kind of dog is it? Weather check. Oh yeah, those leaves are really flipping over. I'd be shocked if it doesn't rain today. I was thinking of going out and hitting, throwing the kayak in the water later. I had a feeling that's what you meant, but I was having fun with you, Pam. And yeah, chihuahuas are fun. I don't care what anybody says. They're mean, but they're fun. We had one at my dad's house when I was a kid. Shoot. I could have done a coffee scoop with that. That would have been awesome looking. The coffee scoops I try to make, I actually do the same process as I'm doing for this because they thread together. And then my lid setup's identical. It's just a longer piece, thinner piece. I love being able to hear my music. Yeah, they say the same thing about a dogwood tree. Its bark, it's worse than its bite. That's right, I was going to do some T-handle, but I already switched this over, and I don't want to take it back over again. Oh well. Do that later. Yeah, my dog does too. The problem is he likes to be in my lap, and he's almost 80 pounds. Wish I could get my dog in a kayak, but he wouldn't sit still. He's like me, he's too hyper. That's why he's stuck inside right now. Last mag. Wow, that's hot. That's big for a Chihuahua, though. I know we had a long-haired one at my dad's when I was a kid. I think he was 8 or 9 pounds. Miss that little dog. Ooh, big dog. Oh. Ooh, that was a big old pop. Hadn't been like that in a while, but kind of good. Deer Chihuahua. Never heard of a deer Chihuahua. Yeah. Back to the leg. Camera off. Chair clear. Legs down. Camera on. Now we just plug in the phone. And I got a text message. Oh, okay. All right. Well. Feed the max. Rougher in hand. Helps if you go the correct direction. Not cutting. You mean like special ed special there, Pam? I'm thinking you mean on special, like special ed. Thanks. Appreciate it. Grab another insert for this. This thing's not cutting. Well, I mean, technically, you know, I do sell almost everything you see made in these videos. Usually, if I'm not selling it, I'll make it known that this is for me because it's an experiment, or I'm not sure how it's going to turn out. I'm running low on everything. Yeah, because it's useful and pretty. I mean, heck, it's one of my new favorite pens. Urban Camouflage with my little twist out. I think I have a good one in my pocket too that I just made for me. Yes, I do. Look at this thing. Look at all the pretty colors. I love this pen. Best writing fountain pens of any of the kits I've bought so far to date. The problem is, my cost to be able to make that's about $55, and that's before I touch it. And I don't have what I need to redo the fountain pen because I've never seen that color blank made before. But the camo one I can do all day long. I've got several blanks with that color scheme that I've got. I think I've got two right here, actually. Oh no, that's different camo. But I got a whole box of stuff inside. I need to get my inventory digitalized. do a better job at tracking it. Oh, that's so much better. Well, if you'd ever come around, you would have seen it already. Actually, I think I did that one on a live stream. All right, I'm done with the stick figure. I'm sitting here thinking. And since you know where this store is, no, I wasn't there today. I got this stuff last week. I'm broke today. Flat broke. But other than the pen kits that I just tossed to the side, I've also got authentic Jim Beam whiskey bottle. This is from the barrels that they aged the whiskey in. 2 more Jack Daniels and 2 Maker's Mark's blanks. All legit from. All come with certificate of authenticity. It's not just a Jack pen, though. I mean, I added pretty color to that one too. And you ain't kidding, Pam. Thinking always gets me in trouble because it costs me more money. And once I'm done with these, I think I'm going to add a thing to hold my paper towels that I use for finishing on my little lathe table. Funny part is, Pam, were you here the night I finished up my router table build? I don't think you were, but I can't remember. Have you seen that one? Okay, well, one of the lives I did here a couple weeks ago, I ended up finishing up a router table build that I had started a while ago. It's actually, I didn't say this in the video then, but it was actually my second attempt because the first one got hijacked into being what I keep everything on my blade tools to my right hand side, or you're at the left of your screen. Like the thing where I had in the background, I was tapping all the these blanks. That table was my original router table. Router table table. Say that 10 times fast to keep it straight. Oopsies. Okay. Remember, kids, smoking is bad. Unless you do it with a wire on your wood while spinning a lathe. Ooh. Hot. Hot. Markings, and that should actually be it. Sorry, one of my shelves collapsed over the winter, so I'm got like no room over here now. I don't know how well the camera shows that, but man, that's pretty. Yeah, I just hope I'm making the right stuff for the store because I still haven't heard if I need to, what my inventory is looking like. So, and this will go on with style, which is why I have this bushing here that you can actually, it'll have a corkscrew in it. So I try to make these so you can have something to really grab onto to pull. It is kind of small, but you can still get a couple fingers behind there, and you'll find it actually fits your fingers pretty well. And I mean, if I wanted to, I could lift this whole, I could tilt my lathe up on end with this thing. That's how solid it is. And by the way, this machine alone, without counting the tools or the stand or anything underneath it, 110 pounds. I think the stand's another 60 to 70, and I've got probably another 15 pounds of tools sitting on it. What type of wood do you want, Danielle? What do you mean I'm going to be broke now? I actually already have everything I need at home or in the house. I just I think they all look good. Don't ask me to pick. These are like my children. I love them all equally. Yet I want to sell them. I just cracked myself up. It sounded a lot better out loud than it did in my head. It's better than one of the other ones I heard here recently about kids and pancakes. But I think I've told you that one before. I didn't learn that from my dog. He don't have kids. He can't give them away. All right. A little bit Yorkshire grit, all the way from the UK. Just an added layer of pretty. Put that on there. Whenever I'm doing a bunch of these, I try to not go through a bunch of paper towels, so I'll use one for my finish, one for Yorkshire grit. This one will be to do a last polish and set everything before the last coat of what I add to these to give them the final shine. These flat spots hurt. Okay. I'd take that over this 67-degree crap. Stuff, SRB, stuff. Come on. Okay. I want those to sit for as long as possible, so. These are the top part of what I bake for the wine bottle stoppers that I make. And it did answer your question. It just didn't answer it in the way that you wanted it answered. Maybe where you're at, I keep seeing it's going to rain where I'm down here. Helps if you don't leave it in reverse. Yep. Those leaves are still turned over sideways. Although it's warmer, so I'm actually going to leave that open. I'm about to make some sparks. Where's my holder? I hate it when I misplace stuff. All right. If you're FaceTiming and watching this, that's kind of... I didn't know you could do that. That's why iPhones are the best. Yeah, it was a Christmas present. Alright. I've never even heard of that. Oh, this thing's hot as could be. If memory serves right, I've cut about, with my tools hitting this, if I do the conversion right, I pulled about 3 miles of cutting off of it. I believe is the conversion for the size, right about. So when I say it's hot, that's why it gets hot. That's what I need to grab. I never even heard of it, Pam. $800,000. 2,000. Oh, and if anybody's wondering what I'm counting, I'm actually going with the grits of sandpaper. Oh. Time for a little Yorkshire grit. I went out of order on the last one, not that it'll matter for the finished product. A little cloudy, but it's on there, which is what I need. Plus. You mean like that? And actually, some of those pieces that I cut up that I was making into eggs, if you wanted one as a bottle topper, I could actually, before I finish everything off with it, I can actually drill the bottom out and tap it and do what I did to make these, and I can make those into bottle toppers as well. The ones I'm making right now specifically will have a built-in or an integrated corkscrew that threads out, which is one reason why you'll see all of them have some way, and you'll actually see me stop it to make sure that it fits your fingers pretty nice. Don't mind my long fingernails. So I mean, I'm actually leaning against this about as hard as I can lean. So I do my best to keep them solid, which is why I don't take that super thin, but I still make it deep enough to give you a good hold. Once I take this bushing out, which I'm going to do 36, 9, I got 11 more. I'm going to do a couple more, take this bushing off, and then they'll be just regular stoppers. There's a couple dollar difference between them just because the one kit costs me a little bit more. Yeah. Well, I put a poll up about what to do today. I had 3 votes: this, shop infrastructure, and playing on the lathe. So I'm doing this now because it was the first one on the option. And because originally nobody said anything about the cutting board stuff, which I made a typo on that one. That would be the parts that you guys haven't seen where I actually run it through the planer, which is a machine I have not actually shown on my channel yet. Because after I'm done, or after I'm off of here, I might actually throw some tops on here and record an actual video of my whole process, the thought goes in behind everything, and all that fun stuff. Put a little wax on. And I am trying a different order of finishing this to see what I get effect-wise. Because I'm always trying to, my mind never stops thinking. So if I can find a way to save myself a little time, I'm going to, because the more time I save to get an acceptable finish, the lower my prices are. Which is why sometimes you'll see two identical items, one is cheaper than the other, and it's just because I didn't realize they were mispriced. And like SRB, what you guys also missed is where I actually put the threading inside the wood. I don't know if I can get it on camera or not, because I just thread these straight into there. For these, all you've missed is the drilling and tapping them. Let's go with zebra wood. Okay. That one ain't gonna hold. Alright, this one's gonna need an insert. And I do have metal inserts for when this happens that I'll drill this to a bigger hole on my drill press. And then glue an insert in that'll actually be a metal to metal connection when I put it together. I try not to use them because it does cost a little more, but yeah, it happens. Well, jump in your car and drive over, Cassie. You can pick one up and head home and then drink it when you use it when you drink tonight. Not, Cassie, you can make the drive in 2 hours if you put the pedal down far enough. Oh, car. I was thinking jet. Okay, car. You could do it in about 2.5 hours. I could drop my favorite airplane joke for y'all, but most of you probably wouldn't get it. But I'm gonna do it anyway. So the air traffic control tower gets a call over the radio requesting permission to go to 54,000 feet. Tower replies, "If you can get there, you can have it." So the pilot responds, "Copy, SR-71 descending. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, hey, I'm a plane nerd. I'm a Star Wars nerd. I'm even a Star Trek nerd, actually. I'm also an outdoorsy guy. I think I'm a freak of nature." Everybody get it? No, the SR-71 Blackbird is fastest reconnaissance jet in military history. Official speed I heard was Mach 3.31. I've heard they've hit as fast as I think it was Mach 6. I've heard unofficially, but yeah, that jet was designed to cruise at like 80,000 feet. They actually did it when it was out during flight testing. I think they went from, I think it was San Francisco to New York, and LaGuardia specifically, if memory serves right. I think they did it in like 14 hours or less. It was something crazy. Like they never refueled once. They just went up basically the edge of the atmosphere and full burner and go. That's why I forgot to turn the speed down. Yeah, it's almost as bad as when the F-16 calls the Air Force control tower and says, "I need a priority landing. I'm bingo fuel and going to be out of gas in 15 minutes." And its control tower operator says, "Form up behind the B-52 that's landing in front of you. They're currently dealing with an engine out." Since the B-52 has 8 jet engines and F-16's out of right gas, yeah. Or whenever you get the fighter jets to like to show off to the tankers when they're getting ready to refuel and doing barrel rolls and loops and showing them how much more powerful and maneuverable their plane is. I heard one day a tanker pilot got tired of it, got on the radio and said, "Hey, I can do something you guys can't do. Watch this." They're just flying along. About 5 minutes go by. The F-16 pilot gets back on the radio like, "I don't see you doing anything. What are you doing?" Guy said, "Oh, I actually just sat back down. I just went to the head and didn't have to do it in the world's smallest cockpit." Yeah, I know. I got all kinds of bad jokes. Does that mean I should start telling the dirty jokes I know, like how the pig rolled in the mud and the dog jumped in the mud puddle? And The bird bath water needs changed because they've been in it for the last 3 days and it's nasty. Time to burnish it. Such a good sound. Yeah. I don't like working with it because it's hard. Meaning the wood itself is hard. But yeah, it does clean up pretty nice once you're done with it. I actually had a coworker tell me when I just started where I'm currently working, because I'd leave them in stitches all shift long, all 12 hours. He looked at me one day and he's like, dude, I don't know how you can keep your jokes as clean as you do and yet be hysterical at the same time. Like, I've never laughed with anyone more. And your humor is still clean. Like, I could tell most of your jokes to my kids and they wouldn't, and nobody would be offended if anybody overheard me. I was like, because you don't need to be disgusting to be funny. It just takes a little more work. Okay. I'm not used to seeing the little speckles in this stuff. I don't work with zebra wood often. I actually try to avoid it, especially on the lathe, because it is so hard on my tools. Time for the lowest speed on my current gear ratio, which I almost never take it off, even though I should for certain things. Oh, it's absolutely beautiful. One of the first bowl, actually, I think it was the first bowl I ever sold was this type of wood. And in the grain pattern here, there was actually a heart in it the way that I cut it out. I had never noticed it before, and the lady that bought it came back up because she was looking. She came back by on her way out of the craft show and told me, I cannot get over how pretty this is. And did you know that there's a heart in it right here? And I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, I didn't notice that at all. So that's part of the fun of doing this, because you never know what you're going to uncover once you start cutting into it. That's why people tell me my work's beautiful. I tell them all I do is remove a little extra wood. I let God do the hard work and making it pretty. It actually was. If I was able to get my hands on more of it and somebody wanted one made, I would do it again. It's not something that I would be all excited about doing just because of how hard it is to work with and how hard it is on my tool. Because the truth is, if I didn't, I actually had to re-edge my one tool, and the other one I'm using has a brand new insert on it, so it's super duper sharp, which is the only way the stuff cuts clean. And what you can't tell, when I started sanding this, it was super rough. I got hot. All right. Hot. All right. Okay. I'm going to do 2 more, then pull this bushing off, and I'm going to do the rest for just a regular stopper. That's what I'm thinking about over here, looking all like, oh, what the... These ones are always pretty. That idea did not work out as well as I was hoping. The bouncing is going to cause this thing to come back in my face. I'm not playing that game today. All right. All right, Cassie. I think I've got 2, 4, 6, 8 more to turn after this one. I might build a little shelf to come off my table because that's just a couple things that were pulled. And then if my glue's set, I might actually run a couple cutting boards through the planer and glue a couple more up before I call it a day. Okay. Oh. This one's going to be pretty, I can already tell. Absolutely love these blanks for making puns with, too. I could make them, but not for the price I can buy them at. Yeah, you haven't seen the other ones I've done that I haven't posted, or the two that I have sitting back there that are going to be 4 when they're done. That's actually, I have enough to start doing my cheater trick. Yay! Running vacuums is overrated. You should hang out here with me, SRB. Woo, that got hot. And that's just another way of burnishing this. After I'm done sanding it, that way I don't have to use the paper towel. I'm gonna be honest, the last couple that I've tried this trick with, I don't like the way that Yorkshire grit mixes with this stuff. So I'm just gonna use this. You'd actually be surprised. I got most of it up the other day. I've got about a ½ inch on the ground right below where everything falls from me turning, just from doing this stuff today and a couple little things the other day. Oh, let's set this finish. Last one, and then we are going to transition to non-corkscrewed bottle toppers. What's up, Truthful? These are going to be wine bottle stoppers. Forget what kind of wood that is, but that is beautiful. It's 60. Yep. Yeah, the part that goes in the bottle just screws onto this end. Actually, the same way that I have this mounted onto my lathe, because I tapped the thread into this. Which, if you go back and watch the replay, I actually did it all on camera for you. So this is just the fun part. because they start off a solid block of wood, and I do the work to drill that with the threads in there. Sorry, it's got a nose full of its sawdust, and now feel like I want to sneeze, but I don't need to. Whew. Alright. I just need to burnish this up, and since I finally have enough sawdust built up, all this does is do an initial polish, and it gets anything that was left over scratch-wise, microscopic scratch-wise, like this helps fill it in, smooth it off. And yeah, it saves me a lot of extra time. Aw, and my Bluetooth's dying. Alright. Put that on. And my wax coat. Top on. And I think my Bluetooth just officially died, so I'm going to switch out my earpiece after this one. I had somebody calling me one of the two. Nope, it died. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. There's my kind of piece. He wants to make fun of me for using the paper towels to pull it off. That finish leaves my hands permanently wet for a few minutes after I handle it, so. Plus, those pieces of wood are super duper hot. Now we're going to do the rest of these for standard wine bottle toppers that don't have anything to pull on, so I can be more basic and have a little bit more fun. So if you see the shape kind of change a little bit, that's the biggest reason why I can. This one's just going to be like an orb, but not like a perfect spherical orb. Back in the day when I used to play the drum. And that's the one. Why am I seeing that? I'm all confused. Not quite the shape I was going for, but it'll do. Before I have to hear that, I need to pause this video. Hate the sound of my own voice on a recording. Hate it. Yeah. I just need to set that. And reduce. That's all the bottle tops I had patience to work on today for. At least for right now. Oh. Let's see what all I got left. Of course, that one isn't big enough. Whelpers. If you're a wood turner and don't keep a pair of whelpers on your lathe, you're wrong. They are the handiest pliers to keep around, also known as welding pliers. Whether you're pulling a bushing, taking that, they're just super duper handy. Let me go check on something else real quick and figure out what we're gonna do now. I will be right back. Okay. Looks like I got one cutting board that I can actually run through the planer, since I've not done that on video at all, ever, anywhere. Yes. Right at it. Wonderful little holder for my paper towel. We're going to find a way to attach it to my table so I don't have to keep reaching under it every time I need paper towel for the lathe. So I'm going to move you guys real quick. And I will warn you, I'm going without my phone, so any questions or comments might take a minute to get to. So we are, I have no live viewers, so this is all for replay now, people. I'll apologize for that bumpy now. I'm, there we go. So this one's still a bit wet. Got my other one on the floor here is dry. And here's one I prepared earlier. Because that glue is solid. Still a little gummy, but that I need some over. Yeah. Get that loose. Get that loose. And yes, I'm sure some people will hate on me for using Harbor Freight clamps. They are what I could afford at the time, and they're not as good as my Jorgensen's. I won't deny that, but they work. So we are going to turn 90 degrees to the planer. Let me make sure that I can do all this without getting hit. Now, this thing is too stupid loud, so yeah, you've been warned for your earbuds and all that. And now we run it through. All right. One more focus on this side. Everything else just needs a bit of sanding. That's about a 12 by 2 foot. By the time it's done, it'll be 23 inches by 12 and 3/8. And yeah, here later today, I'm actually gonna do the math on what I need to sell them for. We're gonna come over to the miter saw now and square everything off. And after this, it's just a standard oil coat or oil bath in this stuff. All right, router table, oil, sand, oil bath, and we're done. And all that does is it gives me a nice clean edge. It evens everything off so it's a perfectly straight line. See if I can get that to show. Once that's done, then we just run it over a router table and sand it. And like I said, a little bit of oil. So we're heading to the router table next. Well, one of them. If anybody's been following all of my lives or going back and rewatching them all, this is the table that I actually made. I don't think I'm selling this one because I do want a wider, bigger one for me. I've been needing something like this for my home personally. But I can always make another one. So if anybody's interested, hit me up. Don't hesitate. I don't bite too hard. Just so it's clear, you can see the difference on the edges. This side's the one I've hit, that side's the one I haven't. So when I'm done, they're both going to look like that. I could do the same thing on the table saw, but I keep this set up for coasters. All right. And that takes care of any of the burn marks. That's why I re-hit the edges again. And honestly, for as smooth as this is, I'm just going to hit it with some 320. And we will see about, or once this is done, we're going to throw it in some oil. And then, yeah, we're going to make that box for my paper towels that I like for out here. And then this might be over. I forgot to do something. Man, I forgot to do something on this. Where is my water bottle? Okay, that's right. Rubbing. Yep, that's rubbing alcohol. How many times can I say rubbing alcohol before I realize I'm just being annoyingly stupid? A whole lot more than that. I'm going to slide you guys over for a second. I need to get by. I also need a fresh sanding pad because this thing's all screwed up. Spray. No new comments. All right, so what I forgot to do is called popping the grain, where I actually make the grain stand up, so when I do a sand, it knocks it off, because otherwise I can have this thing buttery smooth, and the first time it gets wet, it's going to be rough as could be. Also gives you a rough idea what it's going to look like when it's totally done. So I'm just going to work the water in. Put it too much on the add a little off. So we're going to do that right now. Because this only takes a light misting to get the grain to pop up the way I need it. So, all right. Still damp. I want to try to get some of this red off the maple that painted it in. good. Yeah, definitely bled into my maple a little bit, but it happens. Yeah. Just checking messages while I refold up my towel. And this should be the reddest pass of them all. All right. Okay. I'm going to go throw this on a chair in the sun so it can dry out. This all took a bit longer than I was planning on, so I think I'm going to hold off on doing the paper towel box on this live. Ouch. All right. So yeah, cat in the hat and that be that. Thank you all for joining. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Helps me out a bunch. Remember, pretty much everything I make is for sale. If anybody's interested in anything, I do custom work as well as stuff you see here. Yeah. Thanks for joining me, whether we're here live or at this point in replay. And I will catch y'all later.